This is how I went from being embarrassed trying to sell to firefighters at a fire station some coffee to all of a sudden 3 years later being on track to sell $2 million in high ticket sales. And so if you have a desire to get better at sales, whether you're selling something low ticket, high ticket, digital product, physical product, consulting, your time, this story will illustrate the power of how quickly you can transform your results and go from sucking at something like I did to all of a sudden rocking it out and being the top salesperson on the team at the time, and eventually building enough skill set that I learned to trust myself to go and sell my own time and marketing skills to other people to help them build their businesses. So let me back up and go into the story here that illustrates really the power of how quickly life can transform when you commit to going for something, especially like building a skill set, and especially a skill set that you can monetize. So I had gotten to a point that I actually hated my life. I was bartending at the time, and I knew that I wanted to start building a business and being in charge of my time, not being capped on the amount of money that I could make like I was at bartending. And so I actually started a network marketing company. By the way, I'm not really the biggest fan, but that's totally okay if that's what it is that you do. But I was selling a network marketing coffee company. I knew the thing that it was going to take for me to really become good at sales was I was going to have to build courage and do scary things. And so what I did was I made a list of a handful of businesses that were local to me in San Diego. And I decided, what better place than firefighters? Who needed coffee more than firefighters? They're awake all the time. They need a little bit of extra energy. So it made sense to me to go in and knock on their door and walk into their fire station and see what happens. One of the fastest ways to build a skill set that I learned from going through this that I would invite you to utilize in your life is find the one that makes you most uncomfortable, that is also in alignment with the direction and it's not against your value system, that goes in the direction of your goals and your dreams and building the skill set that you desire, specifically for sales. Door-to-door knocking, cold call, emails, any of those things that are out of your comfort zone, if it feels uncomfortable, that's the direction that you must go. That's going to up-level you as fast as possible. So here I am, knocking on the door of the fire station and nobody answered. So I just decided, hey, I might as well just walk in and just see what happens. So I walk in and I saw a handful of them, and one of them came up to me and was like, what are you doing in here? Like, kind of angry, kind of like, what? Like, this is very odd for you to be in here. And so I had already felt this sense of like embarrassment or like this energy come up that was like, oh gosh, this is probably the wrong move, but I just decided to keep going for it anyway. So I walk in a little bit further and end up talking to one or two of the guys. I made my pitch. It was horrible, by the way. So don't underestimate the power of practicing your pitch to nobody before you actually go into somewhere where it might be worth practicing a handful of times at least. And looking back now, I would say I should have practiced 50 or 100 times that pitch before going in there. But I made my pitch, and they told me that they actually already had a bunch of companies that they use for their coffee. All in all, the whole point of this story is I got turned down, I was embarrassed, I was scared, I was nervous, but I walked through it anyways. And leaving that experience, even without having a sale in the hand, or selling any of the boxes of the coffee or getting them on recurring income, which would have been the goal, I learned that just taking a step and risking and stepping over the comfortable and stepping into the unknown, that's the place where we're going to up-level the fastest. So after doing that, I had a new level of confidence and a new level of courage in myself that I was like ready for whatever was next. Because like if that's how bad it was, that was the worst it could get, then what else do I have to be scared of? There was no reason to be worried about people saying no, people turning me down, or whatever, getting angry, getting frustrated that people might experience in sales. And all I did was not take it personally. So fast forward, I ended up stopping that company because it just wasn't my thing. Fast forward a couple more years, I ended up doing high ticket sales for a coaching program and business strategy and coaching, helping people build their email lists through doing summits. A $10,000 package all the way up to $50,000 package. And over the course of that couple years of me selling that product, I sold about $2 million through live events, through phone calls, through Zoom events, through webinars and emails, sending text messages. And so here's what I took from going into that fire station that I applied here that really made a difference for me in being able to actually do it, was taking that courage and that confidence that I had in myself. Like, what's the worst that could happen when I call this person? What's the worst that could happen when I send that email? Even if it feels scary, even if it feels uncertain, even if you might get the no, even if I got the no, I still move forward. And then the biggest thing that I learned here that I'd invite you to take to supporting you I really wanted to make as much money as possible and be the best that I could be. I knew I wasn't the best salesperson, like overall. Like I honestly don't even think I'm really that good. Like I just have done it enough times. I know there's certain things that work, and like it's got to be a good product that really meets the market's needs. And you got to have, of course, the people, the ideal people that are there that would benefit from the product. It's gonna make life a lot easier if you are selling something. And so I always looked at how could I do 1% better, 2% better, 3% better? Can I do 10 more calls today? Like I would set targets to do 100 cold calls, and then I'd do 103 or I'd do 110. And so that I could get to the end of the day and be like, look, there's always a little bit more room for more. I can always do more. And again, expediting the skill set that led me to be able to sell that about $2 million over that timeline. And so this is something I've taken into my life and used every day of my life. When I go to the gym, I'm like, can I do 1% more? Can I do 3% more? Can I do a couple more reps? When I'm running, can I do the same thing? And I look at this as, this isn't just about selling. This is about becoming the person that I must become in order to create the results that I desire. Because the person who sells the most is already doing those things. The person who's a top athlete in the half Ironman races that I do, they're already training harder than I do. So me finding the reasons to keep going, that I still have tank in the gas, that even when it's hard, I can find the energy to do one more, has been a skill set, has been a characteristic that has served me for the last 8 years that I've been really like leaning into this. And so the big things that I want you to take away is, how can you get yourself out of your comfort zone and go into an uncomfortable area and step into a little bit of confidence, a little bit of courage, and just be okay with whatever the result is, because that builds the characteristics that are needed for you to be able to have the things that you want, to have the results, to have the sales that you want. And then how can you do 1 more, 2% more, 10% more, whatever your number is. By the way, over the last 3 years, it went from 1% more on like almost everything you could think of to then the next year was 2% more. This year I'm on 3% more. Next year it might be 4%, it might be 5% more. So how can you utilize that principle in your life right now to find out just how far you can go, to find out you have what it takes to help build your confidence, to build your courage, to be able to get more sales, to drive more revenue for your business or wherever you're doing sales, and apply this to your life and watch as your entire life begins to upgrade. Because that's really the key, is how can you become who you need to become to upgrade your entire life, not just your money, not just be the best salesperson, not just be the best business person, but also have the epic life that you dream of, whatever it consists of. The life, the freedom, the travel, the fun, the adventure, the love, the friendships, and of course the money and the business and the sales and the impact and making the difference and living on purpose and all the things. So if you love those topics, be sure to check the description below, because I got some resources there for you. I got a couple other videos for you that will make a difference if you're on this journey to upgrade your life so that you can have exactly what you want. You can have that 10 out of 10 lifestyle like I'm building. I'm here along the journey to share my insights, to share the coaching, to share the things that have worked for me and the thousands of people that I've coached over the last almost decade now, and I really want to be able to help you. And so be sure to subscribe to this channel, leave a comment if you got questions below. I'm definitely going to answer any questions that I can for the first couple weeks. I will see you on the next video. Bye.